What's going on, guys? The latest offering from the Coen Brothers is hitting theaters. So we at Screen Junkies are taking it upon ourselves to definitively come up with the #1 Coen Brothers film of all time. And we have an esteemed panel to help us with this monumental task. Let's see who's with us today. First, she's a great friend of the show. You know her from Profiles and Screen Junkies Plus. Alicia Malone. Also repping the dude. You know him from Profiles with Malone and Mance as well, and Access Hollyweird. Scott Mance. And the movie fights champion, our old friend Dan Murrell. You guys, Coen Brothers. First, they are some of the most esteemed auteurs in Hollywood.
All of the movies, as different as they can be, they are all uniquely Coen Brothers films.
So we've got the good ones, we've got the bad ones, we've got the ugly ones, and we've ranked them according to their IMDb rankings, their top 16 films. Our first matchup, let's start off with the #1 seed against the number 16 seed, Fargo. Will it be taken down by the number 16 Ladykillers? Alicia?
You're the lady killer, let's go.
Easy choice. Fargo is
This
such a
lady
classic.
has just killed Ladykillers.
I'm killing Ladykillers.
Fargo, all the way.
Dan, I'm sure you...
You
listen,
betcha.
Tom Hanks is doing something really wacky in that movie, and J.K. Simmons is actually really funny in that movie. But in the battle of the funny accents, I gotta say, you betcha to Fargo.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, Fargo moves on. All right, next up, Barton Fink versus The Man Who Wasn't There.
Oh, both great films. I like the experimentalness of A Man Who Wasn't There, all in black and white, very melancholic with Billy Bob Thornton. But I have to go with Barton Fink. It's like The Shining, done by the Coens, shows what hell writers go through to try and create their process.
I think that The Man Who Wasn't There is a very kind of undercredited little gem of a movie. I think people forget about it in the Coen Brothers filmography. I think that Billy Bob Thornton has a fantastic performance in that movie. I will cast my vote for The Man Who Wasn't There.
We are all locked up at 1-1, and we are coming to Scott Mance to decide.
Well, for me, The Man Who Wasn't There was the movie that wasn't there. I admired the performances, the black and white, the cinematography, but Barton Fink, there was so much ambiguity to that film, so many haunting scenes. It's unnerving, it's funny. John Turturro is great, John Goodman is great. It's a terrific movie, and that gets my vote.
Fink sinks The Man Who Wasn't There. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou at number 5 versus Hudsucker Proxy.
Ooh, it's a good one, guys!
And let's start with Scott Mance.
I'm gonna go with the Hudsucker Proxy on this one. I remember liking when it first came out, and I still love it now. You don't need to really like the Coen Brothers to enjoy the movie. It stands on its own merits. That's why I'm going with Hudsucker.
Boom, 1 for Hudsucker. Alicia Malone.
I have to go with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou. It's one of my favorite Coen Brother movies of all time because it has, a bit of Homer in there, a bit of Sullivan's Travels, a bit of magical realism. George Clooney plays a great idiot. So much to love, so much great music, and so that's why I have to choose that one.
Okay, we are locked up at 1-1, coming to Dan Murrell.
I mean, I agree with Scott that the Hudsucker Proxy is their most commercially accessible movie. But
here we go.
I feel like in doing that, they lost a little bit of that Coen Brothers magic. And Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is so unique, and it makes me laugh so hard. It revolutionized the way that post-production is handled in film, the way that they did the color grading on that movie, which is now something that almost every
Sepia
movie
tones.
Wow.
does. That
tones.
movie is what started that whole revolution. I gotta go with Oh Brother.
Okay, number 4 against number 13. Miller's Crossing at number 4 versus A Serious Man.
This is a tougher competition than the seeding would have you believe, because A Serious Man, this is the most love it or hate it of all of their movies. And for me, A Serious Man worked, and I gotta go with that one.
Oh, I'm going to go with Miller's Crossing, but it's so close because I
1-1.
love A Serious Man.
Gotcha. Let's go to Scott Mance.
That is really a tough call. A Serious Man, the ambiguity of that movie, it stayed with me long after I left the theater. The more you see it, the more you get out of it. It stands up, it holds over time with repeated viewings. I'm going with The Serious Man.
Resonates with a Jew as well.
It certainly does, my son.
A Serious Man, number 13, knocking off
Seth,
Miller's
killing it,
Crossing. Wow.
We're gonna hear about that one.
No Country for Old Men against Burn After Reading.
I do to have a lot to love with Burn after reading.
Yeah.
Again, great Coen Brothers idiots, but I have to go with No Country for Old Men. It is bleak. It's a great Western. One of the best villains we've seen on screen a long time.
Sugar.
Call it.
Yeah. Scott Mance.
Okay, I'm going with No Country for Old Men. It won the Oscar for Best Picture and Best Director. And I love Burn After Reading. Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
But No Country for Old Men is a daring film. There's no score. It is very, very intense.
No Country for Old Men, the number 3 seed, moving on. The number 6 film versus the number 11 film. Ooh, this one. Okay, I am very conflicted here. Number 6, True Grit, against number 11, Raising Arizona. Dan, we're starting with you.
If we're crowning the best Coen Brothers movie, True Grit is a really good movie, but Raising Arizona is such a distinctive Coen Brothers movie. I've got to go with Raising Arizona.
Boom, 1 for Raising Arizona.
This one isn't so hard for me. I've got to go with Raising Arizona. For the reasons that Dan said, True Grit is a well-made film, but it doesn't feel very Coen Brothers-esque. I think it's actually their highest grossing film, but Raising Arizona with the crazy, lovable Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my ins to the Coens, so I've got to
Absolutely,
give it to that.
same here. Number 7, Blood Simple, against number 10, Inside Llewyn Davis. And let's start with Scott Mance.
Inside Llewyn Davis not only wins this round, it is my personal favorite Coen Brothers movie of all time. The music is great, and the cinematography is fantastic, not by Roger Deakins, because he was off doing something else.
Yeah.
But why Oscar Isaac did not get nominated for an Academy Award for that film is beyond me. He was fantastic in it.
Thank you, Scott Mance. That is 1 for Inside Llewyn Davis. And we're going to Dan Murrell.
For me, Inside Llewyn Davis was one of those that I admire. Didn't quite hit a chord with me as much as some of their other work.
Yeah.
And when I think about Blood Simple, which a lot of people haven't seen it, you should see it. There is a sequence in that movie that is just Hitchcockian, the tension that they are able to build. And that has stuck with me since I saw the movie, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's true.
And so I think I'd have to go Blood Simple on this one.
Ooh.
Damn, we are locked up at 1-1.
Gosh.
Alicia,
pressure,
it comes down to you.
Yeah, I'm feeling the pressure because Blood Simple, such an impressive debut for the Coens, and it really sets up everything that you see in later Coen Brothers movies. Inside Llewyn Davis is one of the best films for the last few years. Such a great ode to those starving artists and people that didn't quite make it. I'm going to have to go with Inside Llewyn Davis.
Boom. Woo, okay. The number 2 film, The Big Lebowski,
Oh boy.
versus Intolerable Cruelty.
Well, do we
Will
have
you
to really
be
break this
intolerably
down?
cruel to this movie?
Yeah.
So all I have to
Mance.
say about this is that rug really tied the room together.
Much like Donnie, Intolerable Cruelty is out of its element here.
You're out of your element, Donnie.
It's gonna have to go.
Shut
it's
up,
gonna have to
Donnie.
go.
The bracket is set for the next round. Let's go back. Our number 1 seed, Fargo, against our number 8 seed, Barton Fink.
Oh.
We're going to start with Dan Murrell
God.
on this one.
For me, Fargo was one of the first independent films I ever saw. It was when independent film was starting to make its way and penetrate into the heartland of America. It wasn't just for the coasts anymore. I'd never seen anything like it before, and that really made an impression on me. I have to go with Fargo.
Scott Mance.
I'm going to go with Fargo, based on a true story. And it's just like,
Is Fargo actually based on a true story?
Yes,
Based
No.
on a not true
No,
story.
it's-
it said it was based on a true story.
did
Based
say
on
it
a
was,
not
but it's
true
not.
true story.
Yeah.
It's not.
Wow.
You just witnessed it, folks. A fun fact that Scott Mance did not know.
I got wrong.
You are right 99.9% of the time.
Not
We
this
witnessed.
0.1, no.
That was like Haley's comment right there. Okay, Fargo, the first member of our final 4. Now, let's see our second round of 8 matchup. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, the number 5 seed, against the number 13 seed, A Serious Man. Alicia?
Gosh, Oh Brother Where Art Thou versus Serious Man. I'm going to have to stick with Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I have such a love for that film. Great road movie as well as a fairy tale, so I'll go with that one.
Oh Brother, thank you, sister. Scott Mance?
That's a tough choice. I just, praise the hell out of A Serious Man. And I mean, I like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou a lot, mostly because of the music and the cinematography, like you pointed out. But I'm going with A Serious Man just because it was one that stayed with me long after I left the theater.
We are tied up. Dan Murrell has a serious decision.
I have a
what
very
says
serious-
you?
When Oh Brother, Where Art Thou came out, nobody got it.
It was mixed.
It was mixed. People said it was terrible. George Clooney won a Golden Globe. People were like, what? Ugh, for that? Ugh, that was terrible. And then over time, people began to find it. As great as The Serious Man is, I honestly believe that Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is one of the best comedies made in the 21st century. So I have to go with that one.
Dan, I didn't know you were such an Oh Brother head.
I love that
Yay,
movie. I
me too.
really do.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou moves into the final 4. All right, next round of 8 matchup, we've got 2 more. Whoo! A barn burner. No Country for Old Men versus Raising Arizona.
Wow.
Dan Murrell.
This is almost impossible to do because it's
so
where do you-
different.
if I have to choose, I would say the deeper film and the one that left more of an impression on me and the one that I thought about more after it was over would have to be
Raising
No
Arizona.
Country. Would have to be No Country for Old Men.
Alicia Malone.
I have to go with No Country for Old Men as well. Not an easy choice because, like you said, they're two flip sides of the Coens, the tragedy versus the comedy. But it really did leave an impression on me, like you said, Dan. It's so dark and disturbing and so beautifully made at the same time. So I'm going with No Country.
Scott Mance.
No
anything
Country
to
for
add?
Old Mance.
Yeah, No Country for Old Mance. Okay, No Country for Old Men is in the final 4. One more round of 8 matchup. Inside Llewyn Davis versus The Big Lebowski. Scott Mance.
I'm going with Llewyn Davis, baby.
Llewyn Davis.
I know that's sacrilege, but I know it's a bummer, dude.
You, sir, are not welcome at Lebowski Fest.
I had too many white
No White Russians for you.
Lebowski, again, is I saw it when I was too young. I think I was 15 years old when I saw it the first time when it came out. I didn't get it. I didn't get anything about it.
Yeah.
I revisited it a few years later when I was a little bit older, and it's one of the few movies I see something new every time I watch it.
We are all tied up. This is a matchup for the ages. Alicia Malone comes down to you.
I'm going to go with Big Lebowski.
There you go.
Both beautifully made films, both have so much to love, but as for a film that I just will watch time and time and time and time and time and time again, it's The Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski rolls into the final 4. The first matchup of the final 4. Fargo versus Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh,
Alicia
gosh.
Malone.
Why are you making me choose between
the
my
game.
favorite?
Because that's what we signed up for here today.
God damn it. It's not an easy choice, but I will go with Fargo just in terms of it being the classic Coen Brothers movie.
I'm going to go with Fargo as well. I think I like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou not as much as these two, but I still like it, just not as much as them. But I love Fargo, so boom.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, again, I love Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, but just that last scene in Fargo alone with Frances McDormand in the car when she's trying to talk to Peter Stormare and just like offer a little bit of money.
There's more to life than a little money, you know. Don't you know that?
Fargo, moving on to the finals. This one, I mean, let's just call it a day. This is too tough. No Country for Old Men versus The Big Lebowski.
Oh, my God.
We're going to start with Dan Murrell.
Oh, of course. Great. Big Lebowski has so much going for it, and even the little things. Philip Seymour Hoffman's one of my favorite people in that movie, and he has like 2 lines. I just like to watch him standing
his
on the
laugh?
sidelines. His laugh and
Tara Reid at the height of her
Tara
powers.
Reid at the height of her powers. But I think I gotta go with No Country. Javier Bardem in that movie, and we haven't really talked about it. The best movie villain since
Darth Vader.
Hannibal Lecter, maybe Darth Vader.
Just call it friendo.
One for No Country. Now I go to one of the 2 people who are wearing Big Lebowski t-shirts. Alicia Malone.
I'm going to cause some trouble.
Yeah.
And probably get some YouTube hate for this, but I'm going to go with Big Lebowski. Just in terms of a film that made such a huge impression on me when I was younger. I love No Country as well, so it's a tough choice, but I'm just going to go with Big Lebowski, which means you got to
We are
choose.
all tied up.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Goes to movie
Thanks a
thought-
lot, you guys.
Country
I gotta
versus
go.
Big Lebowski.
Sorry, guys. I gotta go.
No, you cannot go. We are going to hold you here again.
For old men. I said it.
We just broke the internet. Big Lebowski eliminated. No Country for Old Men moves on to the finals. Gentlemen, lady, here is your final matchup. Fargo versus No Country for Old Men. The number 1 seed against the number 3 seed. And we're going to start with Alicia Malone.
Oh, really, really tough choice. But I have to stick with Fargo.
All right, we're going right down the line. Scott Mance.
I love Fargo. I love Fargo.
Yeah.
I remember when it came out in '96, I was like, my God, this movie is amazing. Like, I felt like at that time it was the Coen Brothers' best movie. until I saw No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men takes it.
We're all locked up
Oh.
at 1-1. Dan Murrell, you are not in an enviable
I'm not.
position
I'm in
here.
the worst position. I don't know why I put myself in this position. If I'm looking at these two choices, and if I'm going to say this is the best Coen Brothers movie, the one that I think I would look at and say this best represents the Coen Brothers, I have to go with Fargo. Because the one thing we haven't talked about is the comedy in that film.
You see something down there, Chief?
No, I just think I'm gonna barf.
I got to go with Fargo.
Yes.
We did it. Fargo, the greatest Coen Brothers film of all time. That's it. What do you think of our decision? Wow, what do you guys think? How was that to go through?
Awful.
That was really tough.
It was
I
like
didn't
being
like it.
put into a wood chipper.
But tough.
What did you think of our choices? Let us know in the comments section below. What's your top Coen Brothers movie and why? Best answer? We're gonna send you a Screen Junkies t-shirt. I wanna thank our fantastic guests. Always great to have all you guys. Alicia Malone, Scott Mantz, Dan Murrell. I'll see you around the office,
I
buddy.
sleep in here.
Thank you for watching. I'm Hal Rudnick. Hit me up on Twitter. Bye-bye.
So does anyone
have any names that are not on?
Yeah, I had to do something from Star Wars, so I put the guy that yells traitor.
Traitor,
Yeah,
right here.
traitor.
Yeah, traitor.
Nick has The Rock as Best Actor, Best
I
Supporting
do not.
Actor, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actress.
No, Furious 7. He flexed out that goddamn cast.